Come, time's of the essence. You shan't make it out of me.
敵陣は私が突き破る。食らえ。誓いの刃、迷うな。我が胸の誓いが切っ先を導く。感謝する。
Hey folks, how are things going? The new patch is finally up and they finally released Selina. This is a character I've been very on the edge about, no pun intended, because she's a seeker which focuses on AoE damage. She's a union character, so she can get buffed by a couple of really nice leader skills, but she's blue, and I'm afraid when it comes to usability, she enters in direct competition with other units like Nydia, or better yet, Ciri. I cannot see myself bringing Selina around all that much, which is why I would say she's fairly low in priority, but let's go try her out and see what she does. Not to mention, there's a few more upcoming characters which are a tiny little bit hotter, Shanazi, which I might want to go all out for, so if I get to save pools, I might want to try and save as many pools as I can. So, some of Selina's exclusive skills feature the new core mechanic Holy Swordplay. The skill trigger combo accumulation, prepares for one turn, and then the skill can be used again at no cost, with enhanced power. Now do keep in mind when we see the trait in here, we see the trait up to 5 stars. If you just pull for her at 1 star up to 3 stars, there's likely something in here that's going to be missing. First thing first, physical damage dealt is treated as magic damage. That's alright, many enemies have lower magic resistance. When I'm in a shield, the character is immune to interruption. That's cool as well, but she's a seeker. I don't think this interruption immunity is going to let her walk under SP Samantha's alert. Some of the character skills have the Holy Swordplay effect. After using gains combo accumulation, prepares for 1 turn, then recast it. It's technically an extra turn, she still gets a double skill cast, but it's not a true extra turn. This preparation happens on the next turn, so maybe something like Urgent Order in order to increase her speed by 300, but I don't know. There's still going to be the rest of the enemy team moving between her and this second activation, even though with 149 speed, that's slow. That's really slow. I don't know how many enemies are actually going to move between her and the first action on the subsequent turn. She gains Sword Resonance in the following situation. At the end of the turn, 1 stack for every 25% HP in physical shield value possessed. Okay, so you basically want to pair her up with Iserinda as well, try and stack as many shields as possible. Also Clara, great with her, also Felin, great with her. Also gains 1 stack whenever gaining a shield. So multiply everything I just said by 2. When attacking with combo accumulation, the preparation skill increases physical attack by 15%, plus 1 movement, recovers 2 energy at the start of battle. Okay, so she's going to start with 5. Despite being slow, that's still a decent availability for a nice first strike. And this also means that she does not need Tyr in order to get the extra energy for the first turn burst. Before attacking with Holy Swordplay skills, addition inflicts Magic Defense down 2, Speed -2 and Vulnerable 2. Magic Defense down and Vulnerable 2 on the same unit are actually quite nice. But then again, if you want to go around and deal high magic damage, we've got Espinangle with Magic Defense down 3 and we've got the Witcher unit collab with Vulnerable 3. Speed -2 is something that's mostly relevant when it comes to PvP. Modifying speed values in PvE hasn't really been all that relevant, but hey, maybe that's going to change, but still, kind of useful, not the best debuffs you can get. When attacking targets with lower speed than the character or with a speed debuff, crit and crit damage plus 15%. This is quite alright. Basic attack, Holy Swordplay. What the hell? 9 tiles as a ranged attack. That's actually quite cool, not gonna lie. 45% physical damage to all enemies within a 1 tile radius of the target location. so it's ground targetable as well. There's damage against the central target by an additional 30%. This actually doesn't sound all that bad. Action, after being actively attacked, gains a physical shield equal to 25% HP twice per round. And this goes straight into the Sword Resonance stacks, giving her a potential extra 2 stacks every single turn.
誓いを刃に
6 to 7,000, yeah, that's fairly
敵陣
standard.
は私が突き破る
That, however, is not. Instant grants all allies within 3 tiles a physical shield equal to what the hell? Oh, it's only for 1 turn. That's still a 100% shield though. Jesus. If the allies are from the Union, move up, speed up, attack up for 2 turns. If they are allies, additionally reduces the cooldown of all their skills by 1 turn. The status inflicted by the skill on the character lasts for an additional 1 turn. Oh, that must mean the physical shield.
私に続け
On self. Okay, yeah, the physical shield is 100% shield for 2 turns, while the buffs stay up for 3. Even the speed too. That's actually not bad. Again, my only problem with this is the fact that she starts with 149 speed. This is something you want to do before your other damage dealers move. And that's the Sword Resonance activating in the same turn in which she attacks. So yeah, with enough stacks of Sword Resonance, this is technically an extra action, technically a second turn, even though you don't really get to move more or choose a different skill. Depending on the numbers though, this might not be that detrimental. What do we got here? Sword Inscription selects to use Looks at Sword Mark, Swift Sword Mark, or Echo Sword Mark. It's an extra passive when having any Sword Mark, another 15% crit. That's a 30% crit as a passive between this and the trait effect. Recovers 1 energy, if the energy is full, recovers 50% HP, reduces the cooldown of the character class skill by 1 turn, up to 1 time per round. After triggering an attack with combo accumulation, heals the 2 allies with the lowest HP within 5 tiles by 50% of physical attack. What the hell is she supposed to be? Like, she gains shields, she buffs, she heals,
この剣に誓
and
おう
she's supposed to be dealing damage as well. This one doesn't even have a cooldown, just a 3 skill cost. Holy Swordplay skill, 60% AoE damage to all enemies within 3 tiles of the character. Before attacking, attack 2, crit 2, and shield regen 2, this is new. End of turn, physical and magical shield, 20% HP. Okay, that's actually quite nice. As well as another passive, can jump over allies, enemies, neutral characters, and items. When having a shield, 30% damage reduction. For each enemy within 3 tiles of the character, another 10% damage reduction up to 40%. Is that a potential 70% damage reduction on top of 100% HP shields? What the hell are you? She wants to be a tank, she wants to be a supporter, she wants to deal damage, she wants the extra turns.
食らえ障害を排除した
And the damage doesn't seem that bad either. 9k for the first strike, 14k for the second. Starfall Wrath, Holy Swordplay, 130% AoE damage to all enemies in a 3x5 area. For each additional enemy hit, reduces the skill multiplier by 10% down to a minimum of 90. We've seen some of these little debuffs lately when it comes to big AoEs. Can't really make these too powerful. Or, well, having a high multiplier helps with single target fights. Before attacking, dispels 2 attribute buffs from the target and inflicts attribute lock and movement -1 for 2 turns. Which honestly is really nice, especially the attribute lock. Then knocks back the first enemy in each column within a 3x4 area by 1 tile. Okay. 14k and 25k, that's an easy 40. I think damage-wise she might actually be up there with Siri. Oh, this is the other one, Echo Sword Mark. Skips the preparation phase of the combo accumulation, triggers combo accumulation again, up to 3 times, and resets at the start of the turn. And casting Holy Swordplay skill no longer activates the active effect and skips to the preparation phase of the current combo accumulation. So this one is not going to do the frontal strike, this one is going to do the full screen animation multiple times now.
我が胸の誓いが必先
Yeah,
を導
that's
く
one. That's 2.
感謝する
And that's the preparation. And that's 3.
敵
Oh
陣
wait,
は
no, that's 3 times
私が突き破る
plus the preparation
障害を排除した
plus the skill cast on the subsequent turn. I don't know. For how much she casts, she actually feels like a pretty damn blue blender. Might be fairly interesting, but again, I think I've got way too many damage dealers at this point. And we've got Heshan and Shenazi coming out soon. 140 pools are nothing to sneeze at, but throughout the duration of her banner, I should only accumulate another 45, so the next character is going to be Yagane, which again, might want to try, might want to skip. That's another little bit of a question mark. Then there's Heshan, which is supposed to be a super strong support, especially for Elaman units. And after Heshan comes Shenazi. Ideally, I would want 180 pools by the time Shenazi comes out. Kienshir, I honestly don't care. Then we've got Lucha, I'll worry about Lucha. If I'm at 140 now, that's going to be plus 90 between these two banners and plus 45. So I think I've got potentially 130 pools to spend. New characters usually come home in around 70 to 75 pools. Yeah, I don't know. I think when it comes to Selina, I might want to just try my luck a bit. Let's do the discounted 8. And then maybe a second 10-part pool, just to go to 20. Oh, come on. So, is this actually going to be Selina? I would be very
どこにいよう
surprised.
ともどんな身分でも関係ない
I can't believe this happens. Wait, what?
年のせいか
Oh
理想へ向か
god.
って大変なり
You've met me in a very reunion time of my life. Well, that's 130 pools left over for the future. I somehow keep getting away with this. Okay then, come over here Selina, let's see what we can do with you. First thing first, straight up to 60. When it comes to the ranks, I've been struggling to level up units lately. I haven't been able to bring the ones I want to rank 13. Some units are still struggling to go to 12 as well, and I'm afraid Selina is going to be one of them. Also, all this luck I'm going to have to pay for once Shenazi comes out. I know she's going to take 180 at this point. Still, when it comes to skills, attack command and will to survive, I don't honestly like either. I guess we can go with attack command for the time being just cause it's HP. Knight's Oath and the Starfall Wrath, we might have to take both of these here. I want to start with Knight's Oath though, since this one brings the big shield and attack. We'll come back later for the second one. Shield, Luminous Edge. More shields, even though that damage reduction doesn't seem that bad either, since she can get up to 70% just by herself. Rallying Banner, this one we haven't seen, places a Knight's Banner on the empty tile. Auxiliary passive, when the character has any common aura that increases attack or defense, increases crit by 15%. As within 5 tiles, attack and defense by 10%, the banner disappears after a period of time. It is immediately when attacked by allies, and transfer the aura effect to the attacker for 2 turns. Okay, that's actually quite interesting, because when it comes to actually fighting, you can potentially use these banners as sort of bait for the enemies so that they waste their turns on them. The fact that they can be attacked by the allies and actually transfer the effects is also pretty damn nice. Otherwise, we've got the Sword Inscription and another 15% crit. I think we go with the Sword Inscription here. It might be interesting to see whether this flag actually stacks with the likes of Gloria and SP Nanna though. Divine Verdict? We go with Divine Verdict, I don't even need to read this. And lastly, reduces the attack of all enemies within 2 tiles by 10%, when unharmed, 20% crit, 10% crit damage. I guess for starters, since it's very likely that we are not getting the crit from her trait. So Starfall Wrath might be the one Castelia I want to spend on her. So what are the differences in trait here? When attacking with combo accumulation, physical attack by 10% recovers 1 energy at battle start. This is only 5% at 1 star and there's no energy recovery. Physical attack 10% increases movement by 1 tile at 3 stars and it also has the vulnerable 1. 4 stars from 10 to 15% for the physical attack, as well as the second energy recovery and vulnerable 2. Okay, she gets almost everything at 4 stars. 4 to 5, it's not even a physical attack increase, stays at 15%. 4 to 5 only adds the 15% crit rate and crit damage. Mind you, 15% extra crit damage is a lot, but still, I strongly doubt she's ever getting there. She should, because she's a damage dealer and you want to min-max her, but I strongly doubt she's going to get there. Also, I didn't check her weapon. Increases magic damage by 10% for every 25% HP in physical shield value. Additional increases by 5%. That's a potential 30% increase in magic damage. That's pretty big. After attacking with a skill requiring preparation, gains physical shield equal to 25% HP non-stackable. Oh, the 25% value stays, even at 1 star. All that changes is the cooldown. I get the feeling Oathkeeping star at 1 star might actually be quite nice already. Values are a little bit lower, the extra shield is only once every 3 turns, but this also happens on turn 1. I'm just a little bit surprised to see that this increases magic damage and does not increase crit. Since she has no extra passives for crit, she only really gains crit from her trait at 5 stars and 1 over passives. And without that crit... Oh, she's an X user! I thought that was a dagger. That's a sword right there. Wasn't expecting this to go up to X. I think she might want the Gale Sword, straight off of Revia, physical attack and 20% crit damage after attacking. So this one is going to take effect for all her follow-up attacks too. Otherwise, extra dispels maybe. She has no charge, but she does have knockback. This could increase her knockback distance by a potential 2 tiles, and since we're going over to Lucia, lots and lots of frozen ground. Maybe Denial Hammer for the future might not be all that bad. Beast X is sadly conditional, it requires the enemy to have lower HP for a 20% boost to attack, and I don't think she's been needing the extra healing, not with all the shields she gets. Same goes for the Brutal Axe, 10% HP helps with the extra shields, but she needs her own HP to be lower than the enemy in order to ignore defense. For her Trinket, we go with extra crit as well. Again, she gets shields, she has extra movement, she should be able to survive out on her own to get the 12% attack and defense, not to mention 20% crit rate, always welcome. And for the Tarot, it's either Dream of the Magician for the extra damage or potentially the crit one, either one or the other. Sadly, she doesn't gain crit with Knight's Oath, she only gains crit 2 with the Full Moon. But still, that's 30% crit from this, plus 20, that's 50, plus 15, 65% crit rate. Then she's going to need to be 5-star in order to go up to 80% crit rate, but what can you do?
この戦場は
敵
私の番ですか？
騎士セレナ
死の気配を。
わかった。やってみるね。任せなさい。
死ぬわ。
I also want to leave at least one feather behind, because I want to pick that one up with her later. Nidia doing Nidia damage as always. So we start with Knight's Oath on herself, so she buffs almost everyone. Shield gain from the Resonance, and Jesus Christ, 100% HP shield to everyone. It's absolute insanity. Perfect, this is all 1 turn cooldown. Swift, this one we actually didn't see. For a Holy Sword play, gains combo accumulation until the end of the turn or until the sword mark is replaced. When any combo accumulation triggers an attack, physical attack, crit and crit damage plus 50. What the f? You have this and you don't show us this in her tutorial? 85 plus 240, that's almost 300,000 damage in 1 turn. Already possessing this effect, we go on with the sword mark. Since she has the crit rate and crit damage up already. 100,000, 190,000, 270,000. What the hell? Mind you, she's 1 star
大丈夫
and she doesn't have her
私がいる
weapon.
からはいこれで大丈夫
Also, she's preparing for the next turn as
4
well.
こそ騎士です
And this is what I mentioned before. She's not that fast. Right now she moves as number 3 because she has the speed buff. But after she does her action, once you go to another unit, just give her the urgent order. That's another 300 speed bonus.
敵陣は私が突き破る
Okay, the first hit doesn't actually hit all that hard, only 97k. But that's 3 damage.
私に続けおやこの剣に誓おう
And I like that all of this stuff is instant.
食らえは
1.2 millions from Nydia, 1.1 million from a 1-star Selene. She still dealt more damage than Camelot, she still dealt more damage than Iserind. I am very surprised, I was not expecting her damage to shoot up this high. Let's go pick up the long-range AoE.
この剣を研ぎ澄ますほどに
I think for the time being these are going to be her 2 builds. One for Circle AoE, one for Buff Block. Buff Block especially might be really nice. Again, if only she didn't have 149 speed. Because if she moves this slowly, you also have to take into account how many enemies will be left alive by the time she actually gets to move.
私に続けおや
Then we get the extra crit,
この剣に誓おう
and then we move to cast.
私が突き破る
And now she's missing energy. We have to give her energy, so let's go with Urgent Order first. Echo,
この剣に誓おう
and now we hit.
我が胸の誓いが先を導くお見通し敵陣は私が突き破る
Again, I was a bit on defense about picking her up, but when it comes to just damage and damage numbers, they're definitely there, despite the fact that she's only 1 star. So really curious to see how this one is going to end up. Still, if your resources are scarce, I would probably keep saving everything I could for Shenazi. She's going to be the main push this time around, at least pre-Lucha. On the other hand though, I can't say I'm disappointed. Selene turned out to be quite the fun unit. And I guess that's going to be it for me for the moment. As always, thanks a lot for watching, good luck should you try and tempt the gacha, and see you guys around soon. Ciao!
欲しい